When I was really young, and I'm not kidding when I say something like 2 or 3 years old, I would observe my world with such intense scrutiny that I can recall the layout of an apartment we lived in back in 1982. For reference, I was born in 1979. Because of the various observations I made as a mere toddler, I would have some very vivid dreams. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm just a regular idiot on the internet who's not an expert in anything but knows a little bit about a lot of things, which is enough to make me dangerous. And with that said, I'd love to see you around here more often, so do follow and comment. So I have a little bit of a backstory for you. My first dream, or the first one that I actually remember, was about a tornado. I grew up in the belt of the United States that is known as Tornado Alley, so it was a term I learned very early on, yet I had no understanding of what it actually was. So therefore, during sleep, my brain made up a scenario where a giant tomato rolled through our neighborhood, taking out buildings and cars, and was headed right for our apartment. This was my tornado. I won't confirm or deny that this has shaped my opinion of storms in my adulthood, but I digress. Anyway, this was probably when I was about 3 or 4 years old, maybe even younger, because then we moved into a house in Chicago suburb in 1984. So I remember this because shortly after moving in, I had my 5th birthday party in the new house. And while I have more vivid memories at this age, I couldn't really tell you the specifics of daily life other than I remember we had HBO for a time and MTV back when they used to show actual videos. So I was intrigued by the bizarre claymation music videos of Peter Gabriel and in movies such as Clash of the Titans. I also developed a curiosity for horror films because of how they made me feel. And yes, this curiosity came to me as a 5-year-old. And since we had HBO, one movie I got to watch was the original Poltergeist. Forget that remake claptrap. I'm talking about the real best version of this movie written by Steven Spielberg. This is the movie credited for many Gen Xers' fear of clowns, and if you haven't heard that yet, you will. Or go watch the movie for yourself because it's pretty awesome. So I was in kindergarten during this time, already boned up on my ABCs and basic math, ready to move into 1st grade. And when making that upgrade, again, I don't remember the exact details. I had a project where we had to write a story. And of course, as those in my family could never forget, was called My Lost Puppy. We didn't own a dog, nor was the option on the table, but maybe it was my childish brain thinking if I create a story around this dog, I'll have one. I don't know, you tell me. So I hand wrote My Lost Puppy, and my sister and I acted it out in front of one of those bulky RCA camcorders. So this would probably be the event that sparked my interest in stories. So I was an avid reader, devouring Amelia Bedelia and other random books we got from the Scholastic catalog. And as a side story, while in 1st grade there was a competition on who could read the most books, I didn't win that competition, but the quality of the books I read far exceeded those of the actual winner, and my teacher felt so bad that she bought me these really cool activity journals that, with her own money, in fact. So shout out to Mrs. Bevel. I'll never forget you, but truth be told, she's probably dead. But that side story was a good segue into how I used that activity journal, because at this point, I began documenting my weird dreams inside this journal. So the movie Invaders from Mars came out around this time, and I'm not sure how I got my little eyeballs on it, but I did, and I drew a picture of me cutting the throat of one of the invaders to protect my family. I think I had one where I was flying away on Mrs. Kabobble's caboose, wings and everything. So my dreams definitely varied, but one thing I have to clarify is that the conventionally scary dream didn't actually scare me at all. I was really curious. So around this time, we also acquired, or maybe we always had it, I just happened to notice it at this age. It was a classic typewriter. And I was fascinated with the typewriter, how its arms would swing up and punch letters into the paper. We even had a fancy one that had correction tape too. So sometimes I'd get so overzealous punching in the keys that the arms would twine themselves together and get stuck. So I know I'm kind of rambling a lot right now, but basically, this is just like the backstory of where I come from. So here I am, just this young kid. I've got access to this little typewriter, this fun little gadget. I have a lot of time to myself because I was a very solitary kid that didn't really go out and play much. I mean, I did go out and play, but not as much as like my sister did or anything like that. I was very homebody. And then I had these really bizarre dreams, and I was always really curious about like how strange these horror things were, like the nightmares and the movies and stuff that I would watch. And nothing against my parents. I mean, I did see these things, but it's fine. I'm totally adjusted, I think. But anyway, so I really liked this side of things. And so I would clack away on this little typewriter, making these stories. I'm sure there's a few of them floating around somewhere, but ultimately, I used to write several things that my sister and I would act out in front of this camera. And we do have it on tape. I say tape, but we do have it on DVD for posterity. And it is fun to look back and laugh at sometimes. But anyway, so all of this to say, like, why do I write? So one of the things that is really prevalent these days is AI. So I know there's a lot of creatives out there that are really struggling with this whole concept with AI. It's like artists, writers, like even people that work in like the industry as far as like things that could be automated. And it's not even strictly relegated to just creatives. It's like it's just out there and it's very prevalent. I have really struggled with this myself because as somebody who's coming back into writing after years of working in the science industry and not actually fostering my creative endeavors, of course I'm getting back into this at like I wouldn't say the wrong time, but it's very inconvenient time because this is like how AI is really growing and people are really starting to use it more. And honestly, like AI right now is still not the greatest it could be, but it is getting better by leaps and bounds. I mean, it came out just a few years ago and it's already sometimes almost unrecognizable from the real thing. And with that said, of course, you're going to have art and writing that's going to start being unrecognizable from the real thing, which really sucks because obviously as creatives, it's like, why can't you just why can't AI take like the mundane chores from us so that we can focus on our creative endeavors, but rather it's taking the creative endeavors from us. And so we could do more laundry and cooking and stuff like that, which is not something that we really want to be focusing our efforts on. So anyway, in light of this whole new basically society that we are living in with this AI explosion and all these things happening, I feel like it's a really important question that we have to ask ourselves as creatives, not even just writers, but artists and stuff like that, is like, why do you do this? I've already kind of brought this up in another podcast, but really, I mean, I do this because I have to. And I think a lot of writers would say that. So I do have a lot of ideas, and don't get me wrong, ideas are cheap. A lot of people have ideas. It's all about execution. And that is one of the arguments that I've gotten into with people that claim to quote unquote write with AI. Because believe me, I do not think that you are a writer if you are writing with AI because of the fact that ideas are cheap. So you can plug in an idea into ChatGPT or whatever this new thing is that they have, Claude or whatever else, type this idea in and get like this regurgitated slop. That does not make you a writer. And I will call out like YouTubers that praise using AI to write. I feel like it cheapens the experience. You're not going through the artistic merit and struggle of discovering your voice and learning the craft itself by just plugging in something into a chat bot to spit out whatever to you. And, if you're not aware, which you should be by now, if you've been living under a rock though, AI steals from other people. I've had my own work, Hillbilly Vamp, if you haven't read it, it's been stolen to train like Facebook's LLM, which I'm like, how did that even happen? Um, in fact, it's frustrating to me because Hillbilly Vamp, I offer it for free occasionally, and it's just like, it's like taking advantage of something like that to train these large language models to create basically garbage. And one of the things that is also happening with AI is, and I've brought this up before too, is like AI basically inbreeding. So, like, you get AI training on AI, training on AI, and you get like just this nonsensical crap. But honestly, I don't know. I'm just kind of going on a rant right now, but I actually feel better about myself and my skills and my worth by actually putting effort into something and creating something that could be beautiful or scary or whatever. And that's why I write. That is my whole purpose for creating these stories, that and I love to share them. And a lot of times you'll find, if you subscribe to my newsletter, a lot of times you'll find that I offer these things for free just because I want people to enjoy these worlds that I create, and I like to talk about them. Even if you hate them. I did actually have somebody reach out to me one time to tell me that they hated it. But the thing is they actually entered the conversation on the pretense that they loved it. So I was kind of ticked off about that. But other than that, like, if you don't like something, I love to talk about this, give reasoning for things. But that's me. I don't know. I have a lot of ideas up there. I think the difference between someone like me and like a lot of you out there, I am sure, is that you want to go through the grind of learning that skill. And I feel like it is so rare these days that people want to do that. They want to find the easy way out. They want to have that hustle mindset, that quick buck, that they think they can be the next J.K. Rowling or the next Brandon Sanderson. But the thing is you're not going to be that if you just, pump things into AI. I would say, work on yourself. If you really want to be a writer, if you really want to be an artist or something that is creative, put in the work. I implore you to put in the work, because not only does it make a better product in the end, but you will actually feel that sense of accomplishment inside of yourself. And anyway, I don't want to, stay on this soapbox for much longer, but I just wanted to share that with you. I do have like a huge background of like, this love of stories that I developed, and I don't want to see that die. So anyway, that's all for today. I hope you found some use in this. And if you have anything that you want to add to this, please comment or reach out, or, whatever you want to do. And I'll see you next time. Bye.